So, Elon Musk is posting just a bunch of disgusting stuff about Venezuela on his X.com profile today. And there's one particular thing that stuck out to me, and it was particularly disgusting. It was almost as disgusting as the potato video feed that I have because my continuity camera is not working, but that's not important. What's important is we're gonna point out the hypocrisy of the supposed wealthiest man on earth. So let's take a look at this here. We're gonna go over to his page. We're gonna focus in on this particular post. So this guy, I tried to just put all this on the thumbnail just like this. It didn't fit, so I had to put two and kind of squish them together, but hopefully you get the idea. Elon Musk says that's all the difference in the world, and he's retweeting, reposting, whatever it's called now, re-Xing Michael A. Arrowet saying Venezuela used to be much wealthier than Poland. Am I in here even? Yes, I am. Venezuela used to be much wealthier than Poland, which was suffering under socialism. Then Poland implemented free market and capitalist principles and enjoyed an economic boom. Venezuela chose socialism, which brought poverty and misery to its people. And Elon Musk says, that's all the difference in the world. Now, if you look through the rest of his page, I mean, it's just made up of disgusting stuff regarding this. We may look at that here at the end, but let's focus on this for a second. So, there's all kinds of things. This has been viewed almost 8 million times. So, great propaganda purchase. World's richest man. A nice way to poo-poo on the one system that would not let you be the world's richest man, would not let you, what did you say about Bolivia? What was your famous tweet? We'll coup whoever we want. Just in case you guys never seen that, let's pull that up real quick. We'll coup whoever we want. Elon Musk. If you've never seen it, it's worth looking at. Here it is. Let's focus in on this one. Share this tab instead, and we'll zoom in here. This guy said, you know what wasn't in the best interest of people? The U.S. government organizing a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain the lithium there. And he said this on July 25th, 2020. We will coup whoever we want. Deal with it. We will take Venezuela's oil. Deal with it. That's how it works. We are in the law of the jungle. And as Colonel Daniel Davis said today, the law of the law of the jungle is great until it's used against you. Am I still live? It says I am. So I'm going to go with it. Okay, so if we look at this here, Venezuela, gross domestic product per capita, how much money moves around. Just going to double check this here, make sure I'm still going. Yeah, I think I'm all right. Yep, I'm good. Gross domestic product is a country's gross domestic product divided by its population. This data is adjusted for inflation and differences in living costs between countries. Okay, so this is their little chart here. Zoom in so you can see it. We've got, in red, Venezuela doing very well until, about 2000, when is that? 2, somewhere in there, maybe 2004, 5, 6, somewhere in there. From what I understand, Venezuela renationalized its oil supply in 2007. So if that should be somewhere right in here when it's going up. So that doesn't really make sense. But you have Poland going straight up from, where's that, 1990? I don't know for sure, but I would argue this is just NATO money funneling in. I don't know if that is a legitimate measure of GDP, but I'm not so concerned with Poland. Let's say Poland is doing great. The focus of this post is that socialism is destroying Venezuela, right? So you can see it start to go down precipitously in about 2017. The question is, what happened in 2017? What is not being shown here? This is my question. Has the U.S. put any sanctions on this country? Or is it just hunky-dory being allowed to function however it functions? Just go, go, go. Is this socialism in Venezuela without the United States trying to crush it? Is that why this is falling off a cliff? Like these people seem to indicate from this post, they just chose socialism and it brought poverty and misery to its people. What else does this guy say? That's the difference right there. Which Elon Musk is like, damn straight. That's all the difference in the world. Okay. Well, I want to see what happened in 2017. So I went over here to the chat GPT and just asked it a basic question. Let's see what it said. What year did the U.S. put sanctions on Venezuelan oil? August 2017. The U.S. government imposed broader economic sanctions that included sectoral restrictions affecting the Venezuelan oil industry. That is citing the Atlantic Council, who comes up with these ideas. So they're very proud. They have no incentive to lie about this. They're glad. They're the ones recommending we do this. And then it just gets ramped up. January 2019, the Trump administration sanctioned PDVSA directly, freezing assets and barring U.S. companies from doing business with it, which in practice ended most Venezuelan oil exports to the United States. And in April 2024, the Biden administration reinstated oil sanctions after a temporary suspension, again restricting Venezuelan oil exports and related investments. So the key year was 2019. Musk's buddy Trump. Major sanctions. So let's go back and look at the chart. Share this tab instead. When's it start falling off a cliff? Oh, right around there when you guys are imposing sanctions. 2017, 2018, 2019. There you go. 2020, 2021, 2022. So this is socialism's fault, right? So, if this is the GDP of Venezuela and socialism is the problem, that's what you guys are saying. Venezuela chose socialism, which brought poverty and misery. When I look at the chart of China, which is communism, that's even stronger socialism, right? To quote Sherwood Anderson, the great American novelist, he said, what's the difference between a socialist and a communist? A communist means it. All right, so let's switch over to this. We'll start with Wikipedia. That's where everyone starts, right? Now, when I look at China here, it should. There it is. Well, why is its line going straight up at the same time Venezuela's was going down? Huh. It's like, wait, it's kind of like racing the U.S. for GDP. But that doesn't make any sense. Because China is super socialist. They're communist. Now, some people will say, no, they're not communists. They're capitalists now. They're only communist in name. Deng Xiaoping opened up a... Okay, so they're led by a communist party. So you think if America was also led by a communist party, its line would go up? Because their line is going up. And the capitalist U.S. economy is going down. That's interesting. If socialism is to blame, but maybe this, this is estimated. Maybe this isn't a legit chart. You know what I mean? So let's look at another one. Let's look at, what is this? This is macro trends. Let's try this one. China's GDP for 2023 was $18 trillion. Oh, it went down 0.5% that year. Wow, 0.5%. That's not too bad. Let's look at the overall chart here. It had a 21% increase from 2020 and a 3% increase from 2019. That's even before COVID. It was going up. So let's look. Venezuela was going straight down because of American sanctions, not because of socialism. Because China, 2000, look at it. I'll zoom in. Just zoom in some more. Right here. Straight up. 2010, we're at 6 trillion. 2011, 7.5 trillion. 2012, 8.5 trillion. 2013, 9.5 trillion. 10.5 trillion. 2015, 11 trillion. 2016, 11.2 trillion. 2017, 12.3 trillion. 2018, 13.89 trillion. 14.28 trillion. 2019, 2020, 14.6 trillion. 2021, 17.8 trillion. Look at this failure of socialism. Communism. This is real communism, guys. This is who the American Communist Party supports and champions. China. Their GDP is going straight up. Well, that's weird. 2022, 17.8. It went down a little bit, a teeny tiny bit in 2023. 2024, we'll have to see. But maybe that one's fake too. So let's look at another one. I got another one pulled up. These are Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the capitalist United States own stats. Fred. Let's do the same thing. 2010, China, gross domestic product. Socialism fails everywhere it's ever been tried. 6 trillion, 7.6 trillion, 8.6 trillion, 9.7 trillion, 10.6 trillion, 11.2 trillion, 11.28 trillion. Like 28, it's a good number. 11.45 trillion, 2016, 2017, 12.5 trillion. 2018, 14 trillion. 2019, 14.5 trillion. 2020, 14.9 trillion. 2021, 18.2 trillion. 2022, 18.3 trillion. 2023, we did go down 0.1 trillion, 18.2, 18.3 to 18.2. 2024, we're back up to 18.7 trillion. We're going up again. Well, that's interesting. So maybe your little chart here, Elon and friend, where Venezuelan goes straight down, maybe that has quite a bit more to do with the fact that you guys put sanctions on their oil supply than it does with the failure of socialism. Because communist China's going straight up. And you can't have it both ways, guys. If China's the big enemy and you want to prevent them everywhere, why is their chart going straight up? Some people think that's really why you kidnapped Maduro. Because you want to take this oil supply away from China. Supposedly China spent $800 billion, according to Alistair Crook, fixing up the oil supply, the oil production supply. State of the art of Venezuela. It's not old and rickety like Marco Rubio claims. He's lying to you so he can steal it because he comes from a rich Cuban family and he has a vendetta against all of South America. That's what's going on. Okay. Just wanted to share a little data. They're lying to us, guys. They're lying to you about socialism. They lie to you about communism. And the reason they lie to you is because when you look at the chart, that's the only thing that'll help us out of this mess. Their chart's going straight up. Okay? And they have a party of the working class that rises the bottom up. This country doesn't care about you at all. They can take Venezuela's oil, and you think ExxonMobil's stock price is going to help you? It ain't. It's going to help ExxonMobil. So that's the main difference. Capitalism, profits are in command. And, as Lenin said, imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. Let's get the book up here. Imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. Lenin said this more than 100 years ago. can see it right there. There's the cover of his book. 1917 it came out. Put it up here. We known this a long time. We're 40 trillion something in debt. Open that up. U.S. national debt. Put the debt clock up here. 38 trillion in debt. They desperately need collateral so you can get another credit card. Because if you don't get another credit card, the whole economy is going to collapse. Isn't that interesting? Communism, that socialism, that's the one that collapses. Not capitalism. Imagine if someone put sanctions on America. The system would immediately collapse because we're $38 trillion in debt. That's why China just has to be like, yeah, no rare earth minerals for you. And then they're like, oh, okay, whatever, please. We can't, the Fed's printing like 140 billion a week to buy bonds. No, we're supposed to sanction you and crush you, little countries. You don't sanction us. We can't. The whole thing's based on debt. I mean, come on, we're fragile over here. But then they'll tell you at the same time that capitalism is resilient and strong and communism fails everywhere it is. Well, if it fails everywhere it is, why did, in 2008, when the banks collapsed, why did we have to borrow all that money from China to reinflate the capitalist system? Maybe a better question is, why did China do it? Just drag them out a little bit. We see which way they're going. Give them a little bit more to get high on their own supply. That's what I think probably was going on. Anyway, so this is why I wanted to show you this, because this is really what the Venezuela thing's about. They want to get that oil. Same thing with Iran. They want to get that oil so they can reinflate the credit markets and buy themselves a little more time on this. Put a little more collateral in. They're getting a margin call. If you've never seen that movie, I think it's free on YouTube. Look up Margin Call. They call you up and say, hey, the trade's going against you, U.S. government. You're having a hard time getting anybody to buy those bonds because you're like $40 trillion in debt. And they're like, wait. We got some oil supply. We got like one of the world's largest reserves of oil. It's kind of waiting for us in Venezuela. Just give us a little bit, and we're doing some magic for Netanyahu. That's an election year for him. We're going to do a little magic over there for him in Iran. And in case he closes down the Suez Canal, we got this back pocket Venezuela oil supply. So maybe I'm a crazy person, or maybe I'm crazy like a fox. That's the stream for today, guys. Hope you all liked it. There's ways to support the channel, but I think I'm going to tell people to unlike and unsubscribe. Hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you later. Love you. Don't believe their lies. Boom. Mark Twain.